what's going on, Tribe? This is David. Once again, I am back. It's been a while since you've seen me, and it's been a while since you've seen my backyard, but we are back with another lesson preview this week. Of course, over the past month and a half, you've had some other faces, some other leaders, some other stories and perspectives. I do want to give a special shout out to Kelly, to Lydia, to Ryan, to Nick, to John. I really enjoyed your videos, and I'm excited because we have some other leaders that are on deck for the next few weeks to teach those lesson previews as well. So stay tuned for that. I also want to give a special shout out to you guys, to the students, for sticking with us this summer. I know it's been less than ideal, and yet many of you are coming most weeks, if not every week, or coming when you can. We've been trying some things, and we appreciate you guys for responding in a very positive manner. So I want to encourage you to still stay engaged with Tribe as we finish out the summer and look into the fall. And let me tell you, I know 2020 has, had its really bad moments, but, the fall is shaping up really nicely. Derek, the high school minister, and myself, we're still planning some great things for you guys for the fall. And so keep coming to Tribe, keep staying tuned to what's going on around here, and I think you'll enjoy the results. So this week, we are going to dive back into God's Word, continuing the Gospel Project. We'll be in the book of Deuteronomy. But before we get there, I do want to continue this theme of show and tell, okay? Our brother John, of course, he showed us his huge sports memorabilia collection. I'm not going to do that, but I am going to show you something that is near and dear to my heart. It's something that I've had for well over a decade. I'm going to be vulnerable in this video, so try to have a little mercy. Try not to joke me too bad. But this, my friends, is a regular notebook. No, this is from Tidewater Community College. I did not go to school there. I think this was a free notebook from them, actually. But this notebook is called Rap Stuff and Other Things. Yes, I'm super creative. And this was actually put together when I was a teenager. Okay, I've had it for that long. And true to its very generic name, there are rap songs in here, but also some songs that you can, just sing regularly. And, these are songs that are mostly about Jesus. Some are like, really personal songs that are talking about some season in my life or whatever, and so I write a song about that. But yes, I've written these songs, and I thought it might be kind of fun to read you a few lyrics from one of these songs. And so the song that I've chosen is called "The Way." This is a song that I wrote in the year 2008, guys. Okay, can you even think back that far? I think most of you were still in diapers at that point. That was not a bad year, though, I must say. Better than 2020, I think. So with that being said, here we go. This is how it goes. This is how the chorus goes. It goes, "'Cause you're never too far from the love of God. He'll take you as you are in his everlasting arms. You're never too far from his holy grace, so never give up, and he'll show you the way." Wow. If you're crying right now, I understand. If you're laughing at me right now, I also understand. But man, this was teenage Dave that wrote this, right? And as I reflect on those words, it's like teenage Dave was a prophet when he wrote these words, apparently, because that's kind of my feeling right now. We're living in this season of mystery. We have no idea what the next 3 to 4 months are going to look like, and yet God is still God. And, we can't give up. We have to remain faithful, and he will show us the way indeed. And so why do I share all that with you? Why have I put myself in this vulnerable position to be joked by you as I share that song with you? And the reason is because of today's lesson. We'll be looking at Deuteronomy chapter 31, verses 14 through 23, and chapter 32, verses 44 through 47. Of course, you'll read that in your group time. But these passages right here really speak to the faithfulness of God versus the unfaithfulness of his people. And I'll be honest, this isn't a passage or a series of passages that if I were to crack open the Bible, I'd automatically want to read this because it seems like insignificant on the surface, but when you really look at it, as I have, and as I've studied it, like it's really an important moment. It's a big moment in the history of Israel because in this story, we learn that Moses is actually about to die, and not like in a really dark way. That's not going to happen, but his time on earth is about to end, and God lets him know that. And as a result of this, he will not be the one that's actually going to lead the people into the promised land. Instead, God gave that honor to Joshua, who you might remember was one of the 12 spies that went into the promised land, scouted the area, but only Joshua and his buddy Caleb were the only spies that gave a positive report. The other 10 spies were negative, and of course, the people of God responded in a negative fashion, and it was just a mess. And so anyways, we know who the next leader of Israel is going to be once Moses passes. However, what God also includes in this conversation with Moses is that he lets Moses know that the people of Israel are basically going to revolt. Okay, they're going to be unfaithful. They're going to reject God. They're going to choose other gods, right? And they're going to demonstrate their unfaithfulness despite God's faithfulness. So to prepare for that, God does something really interesting here, okay? He tells Moses that there is going to be a song, and that the people of Israel are going to learn this song, and in this song, they will be reminded of who God is. They'll be reminded of the wrongs that they have clearly demonstrated. But despite their unfaithfulness, God will remain faithful and he will keep his promises. As I think about this lesson, I'm just reminded of the power of music. I'm reminded about how powerful songs can be. I mean, songs can teach us things that other tools, other mediums may not be able to accomplish in the same way. I mean, just think about this. How many of you had learned the ABCs through song when you were a child? Or maybe you learned them last year, I don't know. How many of you learned the states of the country through song? How many of you learned the books of the Bible through song? And I can go on and on and on and on, right? This is intentional. Like, music helps us remember things. When you put simple truths to a beat or melody, it helps us to remember those facts. And so yes, teenage David back in 2008, little did he know that these facts that he was writing down, and he put a little beat to it, right? This would help him remember years later about God's faithfulness, his love, and his grace. And God believed that this song would remind Israel, his chosen people, of the same thing. And so, Tribe, as you go into this week and as you talk about with your groups, I want you to think about, maybe a worship song that's been speaking to you lately. And if you don't have a worship song that comes to mind automatically, I encourage you to maybe research, look up YouTube, type in worship music, and, see what you like, see what speaks to you. Listen and read the lyrics, right? And maybe you will discover that worship song or worship songs help you remember who God is and how faithful he is. And then perhaps it will help you draw closer to him, which is something that songs can do. And so thank you guys for tuning in with me once again. I love you guys. I hope you have a great rest of your summer. We will see each other again. Okay? We will see each other again. But until then, just remember to never give up and that God will show you the way.